Hello everyone. Today we will continue to work on two-factor access control. So there are two factors. Factor one is a typical authentications. So login and password is needed. Factor two could be so many different ways. But on this simple exercise, we are going to generate a random number on one view and ask a user to enter that random number on the second view. If they are the same, then that will be the verification. So that is the second verification. So this is the first view and this is the second view. And there could be the verification code by entering login and password. If we click the button, then it goes to the second view. On the second view, we need to enter the code that we saw on the first view. And then click on the verify me, then it go back to the first view. There's another button that we could use, the back button. Back button doesn't take this user the input for the verifications. So when we click this, then this number can be taken to the first view. In the preparation, so that we can to the second the view controller, and we display login name. On the second view, that login name can be taken by here self.login. User log, which is the variable on the second view. There's a user log. That user log is displayed on the label on the second view, so that we can see that one. And then it says this button will rewind the completion handler to the first view UI views. So this button needs to drag into the exit sort of segue on the top of this, and then you need to choose the function name that's defined on the second and the first view. In this, the function on the first view needs to take the value that user entered and the verify if that two-factor code is the same as the code that we have here on the first view. That can be make sure that this action needs to connect it to the function name on the first view. That we will practice that. Okay, so yeah, this is the function on the first view. By the way, this is not just a simple function, but it says interface builder actions. So we need to have this modifier to this function. Therefore, you may be able to see that name here, and also that action is linked to the first view. The action of this button can be connected to a specific function on the first view. To do that, completion handler is needed. If that button is clicked, then the code is taken from the text field, and that is a completion handler that is already defined here. That completion handler is take the string and do nothing on this view, but it could be taken to the first view. That is the completion handler. That's what we will do. Okay. And then what we want to do for the user login verification, we're going to use the database that is available on your iPhone device. That database called core data. So core data, we didn't collect the core data from the beginning. So we'll look at how we can add the core data if we didn't start with the core data. If you start with the core data from the beginning, then you don't need to worry about it. But if other than that, then we need to make that the equivalently. I mean, our the development, our app that we didn't start with the core data, but we have to add some of the features so that our the app needs to function properly as if the app was started from the beginning with the core data. So we're going to learn that. Okay. The core data is a database models. So it has a database, and that database may have a multiple table, and each table may have multiple attributes. So to make it simple, we will have only password and user, two attributes, and then table, you name it, and then database usually could be the database with the same name of this project. But once we didn't start from the beginning with the core data, then we need to name it later. Therefore, this is something that we can say independently. One thing that we need to make sure here, once we define this database, then click on this, I think this is attribute verification, the inspector, entity inspector, whatever that is, and there's code generations. We need to choose manual /none option. If you click this, then it could be, I think, 2 or 3 different options available. So click that, and then we need to generate the code about the database. So the database definition is to be included in your project. The way that you could do is on top of your Xcode, there is editor, drill down all the way. Then there is a create NS managed object space subclass. So NS stands for next step and managed object. Oh yeah, here 3 different cases, right? Manual and category extension and class definitions. So class definition is automatic. So drawback of this class definition is that you cannot modify. Once you define your database, no way that you can modify later. Manual, then we need to do manually, like we generate, right? In this case, we can modify at any time. Third option is in between. So yeah, in order to find the database location, I think we need to do, no, this is class app registers. Oh yeah, this is a database name. Database name is registered. Once we have that, then look up this app delegates, then it has this name. If doesn't match, then you will have an error. So this persistent EX should be the same as this the database name. We're not going to use this name like this, but name that you can see here should be stated on this file. Therefore, your code can understand what it is. So once you have database available and that is known by your code, then in your code, in your view controller, then you need to define the file pointer to the database. The first thing that you need to do is, let's say this is the variable context, the so-called database pointer. Then UI application shared delegates as app delegates. This is app delegates, which is here. That is app delegates. If you see this app delegates, then there is a container, and as a persistent container name, this guy contains the name of database. So in this code, go to this app delegates where there is a persistent container. That is the file, that is the database that we are going to work on. That's what that statement behaves. So with this CXT, then we can play with that. For example, this guy points to the database, the entire database. If you want to go to a specific table, then you need to do this fetch request, and then this is the database name, and then we need to try to fetch the request. Okay, so whatever request that we could say, and then we can do some, in our case, user access control verifications. So without further ado, then we will practice that. Okay, I think this is it. So I believe we stopped here last time. Homework 6 login. So open it. All right. Oh, by the way, we didn't use this image view in the previous. I skipped that. There. So we're going to use these image views, right? So I think we already loaded some images, right? So how can we take that into the rendering on this specific the graphic components? This is a container of the view images. So this image needs to be displayed. That we already had this image view container, and then this image view dot image. So the image needs to. This is one of the feature of that UI, and into that image, then we need to put the image names, named UI image and named string, whatever the string that we have. If this string is the same as user login ID, then we can say like this. So we'll get that points a little later. Okay, let's refresh a little bit, see what we have done at the previous time. Okay, this is a two-factor. This is too long. I cannot remember that easily. So, for example, this is Jae-yoon, and password maybe John, and login, sign in. And then we didn't do much, right? And then come back here. We need to make here, enter your two-factor code, and then we have text field and button. Okay, that's what we want to do. So back here, we didn't make anything here. We have only name. So holding down option and bring in this library, and then label here. So we need to put here prompt statements. Why don't we hide this so that we have the utility panes. I want to make this a little wider. And then we can say enter the second factor code. Okay. Maybe this should be in the center. Okay. If we want to make it, yeah. So this brings attention. So make it bigger. Then we need to. Okay. And then text field. So text field needs to be here. If you want to show the outline, then click that a little wider. And then button. And then you can say verify me. Enter. So it looks okay. If you want to make it like a button, then put the background and maybe brown, and the foreground color, I want to make it black. Okay, sounds good so far. This is, I want to hide this. So I want to divide. Therefore, on the right pane, bring the code, two-factor VC, and on left, I want to use this text field to be connected to the code. So holding down and drag and drop. to here, there's a text field code, two-factor code, text field to code. And this is a button, holding down, and I want to make button somewhere here. So make it action, and then button btn and verify, and connect. Okay, so make room a little bit. So this username can appear here. Yeah, name. Remember that for the completion handling, as I said here, we need to do another variable called, it should be public variable, and completion handler. That is in this type. So taking string and return nothing, void. And this is optional. And here the button, when the button is clicked, then that completion handler should do table two-factor code dot text. User entered text needs to be taken. So that needs to be sent to the first view. So we need to do dismiss animation, animated true. Okay. Completion handler. Must be unwrapped to the value type to the view. Let's see. Then you need to do this. Okay. Make sure that on the first, we need to bring the view controller. Then we need to take that here. Sorry. So func say did unwind. This is our we name, right? Did unwind from two-factor VC. And then it has a sender. Sender is UI storyboard segue. UI storyboard segue. So that sender UI storyboard segue has a source. So the second factor is the source, and the first view controller is right now here. So we need to say which one is the source. So source is nothing but two-factor VC. Okay, so we say this is let source SRC. And if SRC dot SRC source, is it expected to the variable? Okay, dot, and then TF2 code if that if this side two-factor side TF the code that user entered, if that is the same as the code that we generated, which is the code here, right? That is the code. So string.code, string code. If that is the same as the string code, which means two-factor is verified, then we go to verify. Other than that, then we need to do something else. This is not string. That's simply code. Let's see. But this is a text. So it should be the text. Text, if that is the text, whatever inside the text. Yeah, we need to, then this should be string. Type needs to be, typecasting is needed. Code is integer. User entered data on the second view is the text. So we need to say, yeah, convert this integer to string, and therefore they can be compared. So to make sure, I want to see here, let's say variable user entered the code. I want to copy this there, and here say user entered the code. What I want to do, print user entered the code. I want to see user entered the code is coming from the second view to the first view controller. Okay, so on the right pane, I want to bring up the storyboard. Let's see if this is a control down. Bring up here. Oops. This is not yet. Oh, by the way, as I said, this should be interface builder. Interface builder action. Then holding down control and bring up here. Still not. Okay, see what happens. Okay. This means I think we need to do here completion and then nil. Oops. We need to put that there. Verification. Sorry, this is not. Or we can do here God. And then else return. Yeah, we can do it this way. See, or if you cannot see this, then you can bring up here, exit, and then click that. Okay. Then come here and see how it works. Three nine three 0794. 3930794. Verify me. And then, yeah, 393074. That is returned. That is typed here. So this is optional, which means if you want to put this, then it can show. For example, $4099,711. Verify me, then it shows simply this, right? Okay. So what we will do now, so prepare is good. We can write it here. We can say, what's the name of that? Lower level label code. Oh, we didn't have that label yet. Okay, then we'll make it. So here on the right side, this on the left hand side, that we want to make some comment there, but we don't have that label here yet, right? We have two text field and then code here, two text field and code, right? We don't have these two labels. So what we want to do here, holding down control button and bring that here, I would say LB lower left, and here LB lower right. So LB lower right, LB lower left, and this is BD the load. So initially code is generated, and when this button is clicked, then I think we need to read the user entered once, and then we need to take that into, we need to create a variable called, for example, variable user, that's a string, initially null, and variable password That is a type of that is also string and initially none. And when button is clicked, then that user, which is a top level, so we can say self.user is nothing but we need to read it. So that is from the text field. So text field name, tf name dot text. So that text field text needs to be assigned to this variable, this local variable. Similarly, self dot text field password. No, this password needs to contain tf password.text. So when user entered login name and password and click, then read the user name and password and put it on our variable called user and password. That user and password needs to be verified here, right? Now we need to create a database within this app. As I said, right now we do not have database here, right? And also app delegates. If you see app delegates, then there's nothing about the databases, right? So what I will do, I'm going to put this aside a little bit, and then we will work on what if we have here Xcode, file new, and project, and then app, okay, and then we do exercise with the core data. Storyboard, Swift, storage core data. I think this is it, right? So previously we didn't have this, right? Previously what we had is a none. So what if we have core data chosen? We don't need to do anything else but click on next and save it the same directory. See here, we have the database here. This database name by default are the same as this project name. Okay. What we want to do here, if you see here app delegates, then it has persistent container information, and it has Xcore data. This is the database name, and all others here save context functions. So what I want to do, so this is included inside that class definition. So one before this close curly braces, I want to highlight all the way up to this mark, core data stack. So Command C for copy and bring that here. What I will do is I am going to lower, and I was a little bit bigger, and then here we don't have that persistence, right? So I need to bring that down here. Okay. One thing that we have to do here, we have to file, and there is a core data models. I believe that is it, right? Data model. So click on this data model. Save it as model. Create. So this is a model. So if you click this model, then this is the same as that one, right? So we can change this. Let's put it the same way that we have. Okay. Here, this is the database. So we need to add the entity, which is a table. So table name, say credentials, cred. This is the table name. And then we need to put the attributes. So left side here, the add entry, and the right hand side here, add attribute. Click that add attributes. So user, there's a username, user ID. Let's see, user. And type is nothing but string. And then one more attributes. And then password. PASSWD, short, and also string. And then this. So here, okay, code generations. Model here, current product models. If you click this, then this database works within this product only. Code generation, class definition, or manual. So we want this manual. So we created a table and password and user. And then editor here, create NS managed object subclass. Database name is model. And then table name is cred. That's generated on this project, creates. And therefore we have these two, right? This is a cred the table, which has two attributes, user and password, automatically generated. And this is the class definition of that cred. These two things can be, we can group, new group, and then we can say data model definitions, and these two classes can be inside of that. That is defined here. And this app delegates, then we need to make sure there's an error because it's an X core data. We need to say this is a model. And then there is another, we need to import the core data. Click that, therefore on top, this is imported. That way there is no error right now. So that is ready. And one thing that we need to do is we need to now verify. This two-factor is taken care of this here, right? So what we need to do here, if this is not, if two-factor is not matched, then we need to say something here. So lower label lower left text, then we can say self.user, self.user has an issue, and then LB lower right, left, and the left side we can say specific user. That user has an issue, and then we need to explain that on the right side, saying failed. I know this is a long line, so may not be display all. So I think we need to say only two-factor authentication, two-factor auth failure. Other than that, we need to verify it. Which one now we need to verify? User login and password needs to be matched, right? Two-factor has been matched, and now user login and password. So database needs to be accessed. In order to do that, yeah, one more thing that we should say on this delegates, in order to find out database location on this application, I want you to simply type this, okay? You don't need to worry about this. What it does is that this will display the location of the database. So we will go back to work on that. So right now, we need to first define the database pointer, right? So that is database pointer. I'll put that on top. As we looked in the slide, so UI application and shared, and then there's a delegates as app delegates. Put everything in here. What happens? Yeah, don't worry. We will put let's say variable context cxt equals that, and it has a persistent container. It has a view context. So this is nothing but pointer to the local database we call model, right? This is database model. This context. So with the context, once context is ready, then okay, then we need to that guy knows already the model. Model has the database table, which is called the cred. Cred already knows, right? So we need to fetch request, and then we say create, let's call it request, and then we need to do also define the predicate. Predicate can be defined by ns predicate and formats. And then in our model, if we see here, there is a user and password, right? So we can say user contains and percent and at sign, and then arguments is self user, right? This is user login. So database user needs to be the same as the user entered username. That is the predicate. Then that predicate needs to be attached to this request dot predicates is nothing but predicate. And then, by the way, one more thing that we need to do is one of this variable, we can say variable items dot credit, right? Credit is a table. So table is nothing but a set of records. So that is an array. So we simply empty array. Okay. So This is array of credentials. So verify here. So self.items needs to be entered by context dot fetch, and fetch what? Fetch with that request. Request is to that cred table with this predicates username. Based upon username, we want to retrieve the cred tables. So we can say request. Go through. So we have to throw that. So we have to do try here. If we do try, then we need to do try and catch exception handling. If we want to do this only within one statement without having to fetch, then we let it go. And then that self.items can contain number of retrieves, right? So we need to find out how many retrieves. It should be at least retrieved something, right? So we can say that is the matched record. So if record is 0, nothing matched, then we need to do something. We need to make some statements. Otherwise, now we need to this user entered login is already available in the database. Then it returns username and password, right? Because the user is a predicate to be specified for this request. So what it returns is the predicates, right? Predicates for that user. I mean the password for that user. So we need to check the password, right? So self items in the first match, because it returns only one, right? And then it has a password attributes. So if that password is, if there's a password, if that password is the same as self.password, which is a user entered password. So left hand side is the password that is saved in the database for the user entered login name. This is password that user entered initially in this app. If they are the same, then we can say, oh, they are matched, right? If they are the same, then we can, I want to display that images. Let's see if we have images, assets. Yeah, we have an image. So that image name is Jaeyoon. So, and also that image UI is named here. Did we have UI images? Oh, we don't have that UI images here. So what we need to do is on the left hand side, main. Yeah, this is the UI image, right? So holding down control button, and where should we put this? I think we need to put here, somewhere here, right? Drag and drop here. So this is UI images. So images and login. IMG login. Okay, so I'm going to hide this. And in the verification, if they are verified, then we can say image login.image. Into that image, I want to bring UI image. Let's see, one more time. UI image by named. Then that name is the same as user login name, right? So I would say self.user. Okay. If they are the same. If they are else, user and login, they are not matched, then we can say here, similarly this, our error message says, this user unmatched password, and we may say here the password, unmatched password. And this much done, and see what happens. I think it has some issue because we didn't make the database at all yet, right? And remember that in our app delegates, this guy prints, this is the location of that database. So manually, we'll visit that location and open up SQLites, and we'll enter the entries. Okay, so I want to copy this, and I want to put here. Okay, so go connect to go and folder, and I want to, because I already copied this, enter here, enter, and in the system data, no, library and application supports, there is a model.SQLite. Model is the name of our database, right? And this is SQLite. If you enter this, and then see here, this is a table. Right now, it has a password and usernames, right? We want to enter, this does not have any real record, right? So we need to highlight this, and on top of this, a double arrow. So it's a print. Okay, if you click this, then modify table, create these tables. We need to enter the tables. Usually have. So probably then we need to do, we cannot edit program, browse data, here, tool, find, replace. I want to add. It's not. Browse table. Okay. This is a create table, so we want to do edit program, executes, create index, edit. Here. Oh, insert value. All right. This is insert value. So username, here we can say Jae-yoon, and password, say John. Jae-yoon and John. So insert into CRAD. Okay, so that password is John and username is Jae-yoon. Okay, here's what you need to do. I wanted to make a photo of this so that I can see the login and password. I can review your app, right? So you need to provide this. Make a photo of this and save. So that, yeah, make a photo of this or the other. I need to see clearly what is the password and what is user ID, right? So this is saved. So we can do right change. So that is saved. And also I need to do, let's see how this works. Replace. Is there any error? Maybe this is an error. Variable user entered code wasn't never mutated. This is not the error, right? What's going on? Let's wait. Views without any layout constraints. Or maybe layout is this too big? I want to try different device. See how it works. So with the different device, I have this. So I have JYOON, John, 3973188. 3973188. 88. Nothing wrong, right? But I think, wait a minute. Is the database maybe changed? I guess. Our database is here. Let's say it is the same database that we have. If it's a different device, then I'm not sure. It is updated. Yeah, it is. It does not have. Then here, probably here, right? No. Delete this. Delete this. Insert. Can insert here. I think we can insert password. Apply. Okay, and write it. See how it was. Seven 7490248. 7490248. 7490248. Oh, great. So B came up. It went to database. So I want to make sure clearly how it goes into the database. There's some comments. If it is the case, then we can see not only, yeah, they matched, then the image came up. I didn't put anything else. Yeah, I can put something else. If this is, we can put more. 7490248. 7490248. Verify me. And here Jae-yoon has unmatched. So password the issue, right? This once this is in there, then I need to remove this ones, but the image didn't erase. That is the reason it stays there. With this, if I have wrong number, for example, whatever that number, verify me, and as Jae-yoon has an issue, two-factor auth failure, right? That's made. I think this is it. So what you need to do is, for your homework assignments, you need to make this. Yeah, I'll let you know what you need to do. Actually, you need to show this database so that I need to see your credential. This is one photo. Another photo, maybe this is another photo. Two photos, and then your entire code, which means back here, this is a project. This is a top folder. What you need to do is you need to right click on that. There's a compress. Then this is zip file. This zip file needs to be submitted. Okay. Hopefully you can make it. Thank you.